Hey guys, it's Lord here, back with another action figure review, and today we'll be looking at one of not many Spawn figures, because today I'm going to be taking a look at the Spawn the Dark Ages Bloodaxe Spawn with horse, or if you're familiar with the Spawn the Dark Ages, the Viking Age line from way back in the day. The horse's name was Thunderhoof, which I'm not up on my Norse mythology, but is that Odin's horse's name? I think it is, but don't quote me on that. That said, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys, who will remain fine folks despite the fact that this is the definition of half-arsing it to the fullest degree, because it looks cool and it doesn't feel that cheap, especially when you look at the paint. They did paint it okay, but for the price point, I think they could have done a lot better. Let's not kid ourselves. So with that being said, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, with justifiable criticism, we'll say, we're going to cut right to the chase and get to the meat and potatoes of this review and take a look-see at all the Bloodaxe has to offer in terms of accessories. It's got the card, the bio on the back. Bloodaxe is a Viking Spawn. There you go. Who comes with a very gummy Viking Spawn axe. The top's not too bad, but the handle is pretty gummy. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we got an axe similar to this with medieval Spawn. So worst case scenario, I might just use that. But we'll see. Moving Bloodaxe out the way for a minute. He does also come with the horse. A horse is a horse, of course. And it is not like the other McFarlane horses. It's got hinges here, here at the knee, and then it's got ball hinges in the feet. All 4 feet. These back legs just move back and forth, and then he does have the hinge here. They do rotate below the hinges. I think all the hinges, yes. And then the tail is on a disc hinge, or on the ball hinge, so you can rotate it and hinge it up and down. He does also have a hinging neck, which looks atrocious when you move it, so I would just leave it up here if I were you. And then the horse's head is actually on a double ball peg of some kind. That gets a respectable amount of range, or it's on some kind of weird hinge joint. I don't know what's going on here, but it does work. Like, surprisingly enough, it does work. So it at least has that going for it. But yeah, other than that, I would say the horse is probably the weakest thing in this set. And I would probably buy something like the Witcher horse. The Witcher horse is a good value. I think you can get it for like 30 bucks. At least nowadays. But yeah, it's an okay horse. It gets the job done. Setting that aside, because the main reason I bought this was for the Bloodaxe, because I have the old Bloodaxe, but a daggum hand broke off when I opened him, so I needed one that wasn't broken and was safe to play with. Thankfully, this guy's right hand, which is the one that broke off on the old one, does work just fine. Just fine. Lots of PVC on this guy, so he doesn't feel fragile. I feel like I can actually mess with this figure. I'd just be mindful of this chain. Diddly doo-dah here. I wouldn't futz with that too much, but everything else felt fine. The hand had a little schmutz on it on this side, so I carefully popped it out, trimmed some of that off, and now it works fine. It doesn't feel like it's getting stuck. It actually feels pretty smooth, so that's cool. He does have a hockey puck display stand we're used to seeing with all McFarlane Toys releases. But as you can see, because of that big arse boot, he can stand just fine. And the cape even, which has some nice fur at the top. As far as I could tell, the cape does not come off. It is glued into the back, which is a shame because the original Bloodaxe that came with Thunderhoof, he actually did not have a cape at all. So you can actually sit on the horse a little easier than this guy does. But I'm taking a closer look at him. He's got this cool busted helmet with his screaming face in there. He's got a double ball peg in the head, but it's at like the base of the neck, so you can't really get a ton out of it. It does shift a little, but it's nothing to write home about, man. It's really locked in there, but I think it's probably more articulated than the old one. So there's that. The shoulders will move up, down, back and forth, all that good stuff. It's on that beautiful butterfly. There's no caps in here. I might actually find some caps and stick them in there just to kind of stiffen things up a bit and maybe fill some things out. Because it does feel like they're a little light as far as they're a little hollow. So maybe one of the three Jokers, the one in the black suit there, I'll probably put his washers in there if they'll fit. And this socket on mine for this shoulder does kind of hyperextend a bit. If you can hear that. So I don't know if that's off kilter or what, but it doesn't do that over here. Like it doesn't hyperextend on this side. So I'm assuming something is screwy over there. But we do have a swivel in the elbow, as well as in the wrist. Diaphragm joint that can rotate just fine. You can crunch a little bit back and forth. It's not the tightest thing ever, but it's not that loose. He does have a ball jointed waist, and it can move back and forth a little bit. He does have some pivot, but it's pretty hindered. He's a big dude. His hips will kick out, back down, forward and back. He actually does have thigh cut on both legs, so that's nice. He does also have a knee swivel with a hinge on both sides, so that's nice. Nothing at all in this foot. There is nothing in this foot. This is a solid foot, and that sucks because he is in the gosh darn TMNT walking pose, which is a big pet peeve of mine with figures from the 2000. They are all stuck in that stupid walking pose. Thankfully, this guy's not hard to stand, but a lot of them work. You got your Claiborne Moore figures. You got, old McFarlane stuff. Thankfully, a lot of that came with stands. This guy also comes with a stand, so if you needed it, you can use it. But how about just no more dumb arse walking stance figures, please? That would be amazing. All right. We're getting him set up here. He looks cool. I do like him. I don't know if I like him as much as I would have if he was going to be articulated. I could tell you, probably not. I wish he had an ankle joint on the one side. The other side, I could probably forgive that, just due to the nature of the beast. But the ankle on this side being static and then no elbow hinges, that's just baloney. I don't know what the heck the Todd Father's smoking over there, but it can't be good, because this is not what I want out of a new Spawn figure. This is like old and new. I don't want some Frankenstein of both eras. I want new Spawn, new articulation. It doesn't have to be like crazy, but the Deviant was acceptable. The Deviant Spawn with the necroplasm blasts there and the wired cape. Like, what the heck? Like, this guy's got a chunky plastic cape. They expect you to try and fit this on a horse. And some people have trouble getting the horse to stand, period. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on over there. I think they need to, change some things up, because this is whack. But before I wrap this up, let's bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Manibelith and the infamous 11 Spawn, who is bigger than this guy, but granted his knees are bent, so he's probably about the same height. Straightened all the way up. Let's see. Yeah, his knees are bent so he can stand. So we'll give him a pass for being a little short. But I think this guy should have probably been closer to, like, up here. Like, this guy probably should have been a head taller than regular Spawn. Is he a Viking? Vikings are big dudes. They're not little teeny midgets. Except maybe, like, dwarves. But this isn't a dwarf. This is a freaking Bloodaxe Spawn, dadgummit. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and while I do believe that we can all agree that it would probably be most healthy for the good old Toddfather to pull his head out of the deep crevice on his backside known as the rectum, I will say that while this is almost the dictionary definition of half-assed, for whatever reason, I still like this figure set. It's more than one figure, clearly. But for $70, I would think anyone would have common sense to put in at least one ankle hinge with a rocker and 2 elbow joints. I mean, is it not 2025 for those of you watching this in the future? Really? Also, the axe is pretty gummy. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, for better or for worse. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.